Maybe I shouldn't be. Okay.
Of course, I'm not plugged in.
Let's see. What's happening? Okay.
It is my pleasure to call to order the Oak Park City Council meeting of April 4th, 2022. It is 7:03 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Norris, would you please call the roll?
Mayor McClellan, Mayor Pro Tem Edgar,
Here.
Councilmember Burns. Here. Councilmember Radner.
Here.
And Councilmember Whitehead.
Here.
We need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Tonight's agenda is approved. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we go to the consent agenda, and the following routine items are presented for City Council approval without discussion as a single agenda item. Should any council member wish to discuss or disapprove any item, it must be dropped from the blanket motion of approval and considered as a separate item. We have the regular City Council meeting minutes of March the 21st, special City Council meeting minutes of March the 21st, Traffic Safety Board meeting minutes of February 16th, Recycling Commission meeting minutes of December 16th, Library Board meeting minutes of February 15th, a resolution designating David DeCoster as the agent for the City of Oak Park with regard to the Oakland County West Nile Virus Reimbursement Program, request to approve a one-year lease extension for 13650 Oak Park Boulevard, Suite A, to Hatsala, subject to review by the city attorney. Arts and Cultural Diversity Commission meeting minutes of November 11th, 2021. Request payment of invoice from Smith Group for the Parks and Recreation Master Plan update and comprehensive asset management contract in the amount of $7,373.50. Licenses new and renewals submitted for April 4th, 2022. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Madam Mayor, may I make one, I'm just going to call you Madam Mayor.
Go ahead.
May I make one statement, please? I'm a member of Hatsala, but I've been advised several times in the past that since I'm not on the board and I'm not a director, it's not a conflict at all for me to vote on things that are relevant to Hatsala.
Thank you for that. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Burns. Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Edgar,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes. Do we have any visiting elected officials who wish to speak? Okay. Pardon me?
Don't see any.
I don't see any. So we will move right along here. Next, we have a special recognition presentation. It is my pleasure to present a proclamation recognizing April 12th, 2022 as Education Sharing Day in Oak Park. The proclamation reads as follows. Whereas excellence in education is vital to the success of our city, and in Oak Park we seek to instill each child and adolescent with a good education. And whereas by preparing our students for the responsibilities and opportunities of the future, education develops the intellect through lessons on literacy, math, and science. And whereas the Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Schneerson of righteous memory, dedicated his life to the betterment of mankind and tirelessly advocated for a better education for all Americans. And whereas the Rebbe taught that education should not be limited to the acquisition of knowledge and preparation for a career, but also on character building, with emphasis on the universal moral and ethical values that are the basis of any peaceful, civilized society. And whereas the United States Congress has established Education and Sharing Day USA as an annual national day to commemorate the Rebbe's achievements, and the lessons and the vision he set forth are relevant to us all today. And whereas April 12th, 2022 will mark 120 years since the Rebbe's birth, and the date will be celebrated across these United States and around the globe in tribute to the Rebbe's vision, guidance, and leadership. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Julie Edgar, Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Oak Park, Michigan, on behalf of the Oak Park City Council, do hereby proclaim April 12th, 2022 as Education and Sharing Day in Oak Park, and call upon educators, volunteers, and citizens to reach out to young people and work to create a better, brighter, and more hopeful future for all. And does anybody wish to speak? Please state your name.
My name is Rabbi Shine here together with some of my students of the International School for Chabad Lubavitch Leadership on 10 Mile Road. And so first I'd like to begin by thanking each of you for this very, very meaningful proclamation, joining with municipalities, states, and the federal government throughout the United States in proclaiming April 12th as Education and Sharing Day USA. As mentioned in the proclamation, Education and Sharing Day coincides with the Hebrew day on the calendar that marks the birth date of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson of blessed memory, who was born in Nikolaev, which then was the USSR, today Ukraine, 120 years ago. The Rebbe's life was fully devoted, passionately and selflessly devoted to instilling timeless educational values to the Jewish people as well as to humanity at large, to teach, to inspire, and to guide the type of education that we give to our youth. Just 4 days after the Rebbe's birthday, or April 12th, we sit down, Jewish homes throughout our country and throughout the world, to celebrate Passover, which is, of course, the festival of liberation, which we mark the Jewish people being liberated from hundreds of years of bondage and oppression in the land of Egypt, some 3,300 years ago. And interestingly, the land of Egypt at the time was a superpower. It was actually the world's sole superpower, and it was a civilization of tremendously advanced culture, sciences, and knowledge relative to the rest of the world, relative to their times. And yet this same civilization, with all of their knowledge, with all of their power and gifts that they were given, utilized that power to enslave people mercilessly and to oppress them and to brutalize them for hundreds of years, which is, of course, a reminder to all of us that more than just the acquisition, the passing on of technical knowledge to our children, true education begins, and at the core of it, there must be a recognition and an imparting of timeless, God-given values to the next generation. The information we pass on is like a building that's built on top of but the foundations are our commitments, absolute commitments as individuals and as a society to what's just and what's right and what's kind and what's good. Throughout history, some of the most advanced civilizations have used that very knowledge that they were given, that very knowledge that they transmitted to their children for the most horrible atrocities, which again reminds us that when proclaiming Education and Sharing Day USA, not just is at the heart of it is a recommitment and a reminder to ourselves, not just to transmit education in the sense of knowledge, but in the education in the broader, deeper, and more fundamental sense of values, timeless values, so that people can live in peace with one another, that people can be good to one another, that there's always a society that's based on what's just and what's right. And so I guess I just wanted to add to the proclamation you read, is that I hope that for each of us that are here, these are some of my students, for each of us that are here, both yourselves and everyone that's in the audience and every one of us in our own private lives, we remember that this day of education and sharing is not just meant to be one day of a year and then sort of leave it for the shelves, but this is something that's that hopefully impassions us and reminds us and drives us to our most fundamental responsibility that we have as parents, as a civilization, to educate the next generation, not just by giving them information, but giving them the means to decide, and the sense of justice and righteousness and kindness, which is a bedrock of any lasting civilization, of any lasting society. So again, thank you very much, and I hope that this will serve as an inspiration, not just for us here tonight, but that we carry it with us. I think as much as any government body has its own set of obligations and its own set of duties, at the core of what government is all about, and what we hope that we all together can accomplish, is a sense of transmitting values to the next generation and building a society that's at least as good and better than the way we found it. And again, thank you very much, and a happy and meaningful Passover and to everyone.
Thank you, Rabbi. We do have some copies of the proclamation for you.
Sure.
Should we do a picture? Yeah, as well. We're going to do a picture. Yeah, we'll come down. You can just stay there.
But do you have hats for us?
Not everybody? There's plenty of room up there. You have both sides.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have we're going to conduct a public hearing to hear comments and concerns on the following special assessment district: 698 unpaid utility invoices, 699 unpaid false alarm invoices, and 700 unpaid property blight invoices. I now declare the public hearing open. Clerk Norris, is there anyone who wishes to speak about the special assessments?
Yes, I have a couple that have indicated that they would like to speak for that. Mrs. Johnson, here, Mrs. Johnson.
And please state your name and address.
Oh, am I start over? My name is Joyce Johnson, and I'm at 22116 Dante, Unit 118, and that's in Oak Park. And I wanted to speak on behalf of my unit. I'm a co-owner. I've been there since 1985. And the landlord has purchased 3 units, and I feel that he's trying to force me out of my home. And I don't know what to do. They leave my doors open. I'm afraid to go out the door. I'm 72 years old, and I just don't know what I can do. And so I will write a formal letter to give you all the things that have been happening to me. And I pray that you guys can help me. So that's all I have to say at this particular time. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, can I ask a question, please?
Yes.
Ma'am, what's the name of your landlord?
He's not my landlord. He's the landlord of the building. His name is Andy Bath, B-A-T-H. And he bought 3 units in my building. And he just collects rent. They do no maintenance whatsoever. I paid the City of Oak Park. They sent me a bill for $2,800. I paid that. They made me pay to have the lawn cut. I can't even go outside, so I'm 72. I'm not cutting any grass. But I paid the money because they were talking about foreclosing on my unit. And it's just been a mess. And I really, at this point, don't know what I can do as a resident. And I've had at least 30 different tenants in that building. I don't even know who these people are. I'm afraid to go out my door to my car half of the time because I don't know who they are. And he never introduces me to anyone. All he does is collect rent. And I don't know what to do.
We got to be able to do something about this.
Yeah.
We've talked about things in the past. I mean, there's got to be something we can do.
We will look into this for
Okay,
you.
I pray that you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Clerk Norris?
Next, I have Solomon Zeiler.
A word of caution, this is my next door neighbor.
My name is Solomon Zeil. I live at 26061 Ratcliffe Place in Oak Park. I'm here on a few different reasons, but the main one is I have some rental property on Borgman, 2 on Borgman, 1 on Kingston. First of all, the house on Kingston.
Is this about a special assessment district?
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
thank
of the water bills,
Got it.
stuff
Thank
like
you.
that. So she worked for Beaumont Hospital, and 4 months ago she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She's trying to pay her bill. Her father just paid most of the bill up, which I paid up today for that Kingston house, the water bill. He gave me $600 out of $700 or $800. And first of all, I'd like to find out if, not to charge her interest, she's doing the best she can on the payments. My second request is that I have a house on Borgman with a water bill of close to $1,400 from a renter who skipped town. And at that time, I came into the office quite a few times over the last 8 years to find out that if a water bill goes over $500, if they can turn off the system. I'm being charged interest on these bills, and I was told at that time that I can't turn off, they will not turn off a renter's water, that I'm responsible for it. I also asked them about if I didn't pay the bill, how much money can I, accumulate before you turn me off? And they had told me at $500, usually they send out a letter. If you don't pay the bill, they will turn off my water. I own both houses. And if you let the bill go over 500, I believe it's the city's responsibility, not mine. I mean, I don't mind if you turn off the water on a person that doesn't pay rent or pay electric or gas, because they turn them off. But since you're claiming that I'm responsible for the bill and I have to pay it, then I think I have the right of telling you when to turn off the water and when not to turn off the water. Just to kind of close up this little speech about tax interest and stuff, over the 7, 8 years that I had the house on Borgman, many times I came down to the city to complain that the bills were way too high. At that time, I was told many, many times that our toilets have been running. Our toilets are not running. That's the same excuse I hear from 35 other people. So basically, half a block in our neighborhood, toilets are running, which doesn't make sense. We brought down a few inspectors from the city, and they walked through the house and were given the same excuse that our toilets were running. Mind you, we're in the house. Nothing is running. The meters are working. To find out on the last inspection that we had a year and a half ago, an inspector came down from Oak Park and found out that we had the wrong meter. We had a commercial meter in a residential house. We've been paying on that house for 6 years. The next bill we got was a credit for $240. I have copies of the bills for 3 months, because that's the way you used to bill it out at 3 months intervals. So I'm requesting that since the problem was not a running toilet, the problem was that it had the wrong meter, I'd like to get paid back for the last 6 years on all the overcharges that we received. That's basically it. Thank you very much.
Madam Mayor, can I ask a question? It's up to you. You're in charge.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. For 6 years, you paid the wrong.
You paid the wrong price, and when the inspector came back and credited the account for 3 months,
You can
for 3
have them
months,
pull these off
over
and take a look at them
$200.
and investigate, but we're
Okay.
not supposed to interact.
Because we were overcharged. I got 7 years in that house. I think I'm entitled to a credit. Not a credit, money.
Thank you.
We will look into that. Thank you.
Can I say one more thing while I'm still standing?
Go ahead.
I was told that 3 months ago, 4 months ago, at the last meeting. Mr. Rattle was with me. They said they would get back to me. No one has ever called.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Clerk Norris, do we have somebody else?
Yeah, I believe we have Sam Kresh to speak about blight and water.
And just as a disclaimer, this guy's actually married to my sister, so I'm definitely conflicted out of this one. You, I'm not conflicted out of.
Feeling some level of deja vu here.
What's that?
That I'm feeling some level of deja vu here. There's 2 things that I'd like to talk about. Number 1 is in terms of the unpaid water bill. Thankfully, I spoke to the tenant there last week and ensured that she would be paying the rest of it, and she has, and sent me receipts. In terms of the blight, the issue was as follows. About 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago, we had a rental manager who was dealing with our apartments, who owed us a lot of money and was basically just dealing with these properties, didn't really tell us too much. He just dealt with them, and we were very much off the grid. We didn't even live here. I was living in New York till August of 2021. Then, unfortunately, he passed away, at least to us unexpectedly, from cancer. He didn't tell us anything about his sickness. He just passed away, and we just had to deal with the lawyers from June of 2020 on. We took over all these properties ourselves. We had a very difficult time finding someone. And then about 12 months ago, we found out about all of these inspections that were due from the previous year. I jumped on this because I had just moved here in August, and I've been working with Mr. Greg Childs on all of these rental properties. I am literally almost there. We just had our second inspection on Friday, and we did not get the final report yet, but I'm pretty sure that we are good to go. There's one property that we are having difficulty with, unfortunately. There were so many issues with the property that Mr. Greg Childs himself recommended that we let the property go and sell it. We told the tenants that 4 months ago, immediately after the inspection, and they said, okay, we are going to find another house. It's been 4 months. I have been speaking to them and texting them repeatedly, and unfortunately, they're having a very difficult time finding a house. They're right now in discussion. He sent me a written letter, which I can send to the council, basically saying we need time. We just need a place to live, literally to live, until we find a house that we can live in. The market is just so difficult right now. I get calls from all of my tenants asking for more places to live for their friends because it's so difficult in the area. So I don't know how to deal with this 13350 Burton. I would love some counsel from you. Again, I tried to evict him. I just don't have the heart to tell him to leave if he just doesn't have somewhere to go. That's the only one that's the issue. Everyone else is up to date.
What a nice guy. My little sister's so lucky.
No, he'll read it into the record here.
Okay.
So-
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
City Clerk Norris, are there others who wish to speak?
I don't know if there's anyone else that wishes to speak, but I do have written objections to read in the record.
Okay. Yes. Please read those objections into the record if there are no others who are here to speak.
I have exceptions that I've received either via email or in person, and I'll read those objections, properties right now. And this is for delinquent utility, SAD District 698. We have 21910 Sloman, 24231 Majestic, 8544 Capitol, 16577 Marlowe. I believe the property is 22130 Kenosha. 21871 Beverly, 13721 Kingston, 26061 Radcliffe Place, 13730 Pearson, 23226 Rosewood, 21971 Coolidge Highway, 23631 Morton, 24620 Pine Valley Boulevard. All right. 23021 Webster Avenue, and 21660 Parklawn Street. And I have, for property blight, I have these properties: 24660 Ridgedale, 21310 Gardner, 23450 Oneida, and 22116 Dante, Unit 118.
I now declare the public hearing on special assessment districts closed. And I will entertain a motion to adopt special assessment resolution number 9, confirming the rules and withholding the noted temporary exceptions, and special assessment resolution number 10, setting the due date of May 19th, 2022 with penalty for the special assessment districts 698, 699, and 700. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a question. The objections and all the objectors are, we're not making a motion on those. Those have been pulled out of this motion?
All of those are represented.
Those are part of it.
Those are part of it.
They are the exceptions.
They're the exceptions. So part of the motion is that they are accepted from this, and then we're voting to approve the 10% on all the other ones?
We're approving the roll with these temporarily removed,
Gotcha. Okay.
and they'll be investigated, and we'll pick it up again later.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry for making it so complicated.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Burns,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner,
I'm not going to vote on this one.
okay, Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion passes. Okay. Any communications? Nope. Okay. Next on the agenda is 10A, request for a special event license submitted by Street Corner Music at 26020 Greenfield Road for an outdoor phonograph record sale for National Record Store Day to be held April 23rd, 2022. Is there a motion to approve the special event license?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Is council invited?
Do you have a turntable?
I'm a good DJ. You got to see. You have no idea.
Any other discussion? Okay. Ed, do we? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and we have no accounting reports. Next, under bids, is a request to award the bid for the 2022 water main replacement project, M737, to Mark Antony Contracting of Milford, Michigan, for the total amount of $3,433,498.50. Is there a motion to award the bid?
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second.
And would our city engineer, Kara GRISAMER, join us at the podium to summarize the bid award? Thank you.
Good evening.
Evening.
At the January 18th, 2022 regular council meeting of the Oak Park City Council, the request to bid the 2022 water main replacement project M737 and the North End water main and road replacement project M738. These projects were combined prior to posting the bid advertisement as the 2022 water main replacement project M737. This project was advertised and 97 contractors viewed the documents. On March 21st, 2022, 5 bids were received and opened. The low bidder, Mark Antony Contracting of Milford, Michigan, submitted a bid of $3,433,498.50 for the combined water main projects. This project will replace the water mains in the areas shown on the attached map and also replace the pavement on North End Avenue. References were checked, and we received all positive responses. It is recommended that City Council award the regular bid for the 2022 water main replacement project M737 to Mark Antony Contracting of Milford, Michigan, for the total amount of $3,433,498.50. Funding is provided in the water and sewer and major streets budgets.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
Mayor Pro Temp, I have 2 questions. If I may, have we used this company before?
We have not.
Okay. And is this higher than typical with inflation and so forth, or is this where it may be a question for Director Barrett since he's been here before?
We revised our engineering estimate for the projects prior to bidding, based on similar water main projects that were let in January of 2022.
So it was a similar price?
Yes, we received very similar prices, and it was under our engineering estimate.
Thank you.
I do have a question. When would this project start?
We are starting it. We haven't had our pre-con with the contractor yet, so our goal is to start as early as possible, like early May, with some of the intersection replacement work, and then proceeding with the water main, starting immediately after school is shut down in June.
And how inconvenient is this going to be for residents and businesses in the area?
North End itself will be closed in stages during the project. It will affect people who have driveways on North End the most. They'll have to be parked a little bit further than they normally park from their house. But North End needs replacing, so it is unfortunately necessary.
And we inform the homeowners along North End.
Everyone will be informed. We will have an open meeting with the affected neighbors at the end of April.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, so we have a second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend Chapter 2.
Madam Mayor, we need a,
We need
a
a
vote.
Oh, we need a vote, okay. Is it a roll call vote? Okay, we need a roll call, please.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead,
Yes.
Councilmember Burns,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes. Okay, we are doing second reading, adoption of an ordinance to amend Chapter 2, Administration, Article 3, Division 6 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oak Park by amending Section 2-331 thereof. The ordinance amendment will allow the Traffic Safety Board to hold one meeting quarterly instead of monthly. Do we have a motion to approve the second reading and adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead,
Yes.
Councilmember Burns,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes. Do we have discussion on this or no? We don't have any discussion on this. Okay. Thank you. Motion passes. Next up is the city attorney.
I do not have any report this evening.
Okay. Our city attorney does not have a report this evening. Next up is the city manager's report, and City Manager Tungate will conduct this part of the meeting.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Edgar, members of council. I just have one item, 15A, which was a request to approve an amendment to the contract with Smith Group to include additional priority areas in the Parks and Rec Master Plan and Recreation Asset Assessment. This arises, and Director Stasiak is at the podium if you have any questions for her, but this arises after our council visioning session. We have added Dewey Park to the priority areas, so it'll be a 7th priority area. And I think of note is that by adding this, it still keeps this under the budgeted amount of $125,000 at $124,735. Do you want to add to that?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members, and City Manager Tungate. Well, ERIK said it all.
That's my job.
In the city visioning session, as ERIK mentioned, on March 21st, it was determined that the 7th priority area is needed to be added to the scope of work for the Parks and Recreation Master Plan and Recreation Asset Assessment. The additional priority area is Dewey Park. It will be included in a detailed schematic design, as well as an additional stakeholder workshop specific to that park will be included. This amendment to the scope of work includes the additional fee of $5,500. This will increase our contract from $119,235 to a new contract total of $124,735. And this is still, as ERIK said, under the budgeted amount of $125,000. So we recommend that the city council approve the scope of work contract amendment with the Smith Group.
So, council members, I want to clarify one thing on this too, that the trail system that we are looking at will include a back portion, south portion of Dewey Park. This will also include the rest of Dewey Park into this proposal, so.
So in other words, we already had plans to put part of a trail in Dewey Park, and this amendment would include the entire park.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the contract amendment?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Burns,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Cool glasses.
Motion passes. Is there any discussion?
I just like her glasses.
I,
That counts.
I did want to add one thing about this. This is a really exciting development in the city. We are moving along on this recreational asset study. And I think it was Councilman Whitehead who really raised this idea of, looking at parks on the south end. We are doing lots of work on the south end, but it's nice that we're including this park. I think it just further enhances the city, and we are all one, so I like this, so thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Stasiak. Council members, that completes the city manager report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have a call to the audience, and there is a 3-minute time limit per speaker. City Clerk Norris, are there any members of the audience who wish to speak?
I do have some cards for some people. We'll call them first. Anybody that haven't done that, they can come up. Carol Moore wanted to come up.
Good evening. My name is Carol Moore. I live at 21620 Kipling Street. And I'm a walker. I usually go out and walk our community several times a week. And I was wondering if there was something you could do to encourage the businesses along 8 Mile to clean up their area, and some businesses on Coolidge as well.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes.
Sharon Jameson.
Good evening. My name is Sharon Jameson, and I live at 21711 Gardner Street. And Mayor McClellan, I believe the last time I had spoken to you, it was on Election Day, right outside of Oak Park High. I was asking you about North End Street, the potholes over there. And see, I don't know, I haven't been here before, but once before, so I don't know what is going on with, with you all discussing that area. But those potholes have actually gotten worse. Because as you're going down, as you're driving up towards Coolidge, people are driving on the opposite side to get past those potholes. And see, it's getting so bad over there, those potholes. I mean, if they could be just filled in or something until they could actually repave the street completely. Because it's terrible over there.
City Manager Tungate is going to address this.
Well, Ms. Jameson, I have some good news and some bad news for you.
Oh.
I'm going to start with the bad news first.
Okay.
The bad news is that we're going to be tearing North End completely up in the months to come.
Okay.
And the reason we're doing that is because we're going to do a complete reconstruction of North End. In the meantime, yeah, we can take a look at some of the potholes before then, but we're literally doing a complete reconstruction of North End. So it'll be brand new curbs, street, water,
Wonderful.
the whole thing.
If that's the bad news, that's good.
Good and bad.
That's good.
But I say bad news primarily because it is going to be a little while of construction. So our city engineer had mentioned we're going to begin in earnest probably in May.
Well, can't they put some kind of, that gravel, that tar stuff
Yeah,
on
we
there
can take a
until
look at,
then?
we can take a look at some
Because when they,
immediate
when you're
repairs.
going down the street and you see cars
Yeah.
coming towards you and they getting in the opposite side to try to get past those potholes, I'd rather put some gravel down there than have my tires
Right.
messed up.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it in the meantime, but
Okay, and I want to ask one other question, quick question. Those parks on 9 Mile, those, well, what are those supposed to be for? Are they parks? That stuff, the play area, what are those for?
so, that's a linear park. That's the 9 Mile Linear Park. We just added a new park to the city's portfolio of parks. So the park that it's an entire linear park. It's our first linear park, as a matter of fact.
Isn't that too close to the street for
It's
young
not.
kids
It's
to
not.
play in that? You don't think so?
street.
Huh?
It's fun to play by the street.
So
No,
there-
no, not like that.
you're gonna,
not on 9
I just,
Mile.
I will say this, there's going to be lots of plantings that happen this spring as soon as the weather turns and things get underway. That will help guard some of those areas from people entering the street, obviously. But it is perfectly safe. Obviously, when you're in that area, like in any park, you want to watch your kids and make sure they're not running out into the street. But
Well, you know, I watch mine, but you know, sometimes those kids are out there by themselves, and so definitely gotta be careful for them.
well, this is one of the steps in our process here at the City of Oak Park. And again, that's our first linear park. It's a bona fide linear park, so we're very excited about it.
All right, I
Thank
guess
you.
I will be one day too. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, last name of Bullock. Oh, Mr. Miller.
Greetings, Mayor Pro Tem and esteemed body. My name is Senator Marshall Bullock, and I am just here to introduce myself to you, the City of Oak Park, the business owners, due to our independent redistricting committee. My district, which covers a great deal of Detroit, Lincoln Park, Allen Park, and Southgate, has been flipped totally, in which moving forward it will have a small portion of Detroit and a great deal of Oakland County, and that includes Oak Park, Ferndale, Royal Oak, Birmingham, and all the small townships and cities in between Greenfield and 75. So it's a little bit about me. I am the Assistant Pro Tem of the Senate. I am sitting on 4 committees. I sit on Insurance and Banking, Transportation and Infrastructure, Energy and Technology, Vice Chair, Family, Seniors, and Veterans. I am the Chairman of the Michigan Legislative Black Caucus. I sit on 3 task force, which was one of them was the Coronavirus Racial Disparities Task Force, Child Welfare Improvement, and Marijuana Regulatory Agency Social Equity Task Force. I am very familiar with Oak Park. I've worked in Oak Park. I have family and friends in Oak Park, and I enjoy all the wonderful amenities of Oak Park with my family. And I just wanted to take this time to introduce myself moving forward. I've got a great extensive background in municipal government coming out of the City of Detroit Mayor's office for many years before I ran for office. So with that, you'll see me on a regular, and I'd like to avail myself, and along with your current legislators out of Lansing, who I know personally, to help do whatever we can for the City of Oak Park.
Thank you. So what's the district number?
The
new one?
district number will be 8 moving forward.
8.
Yes.
Okay. And how many terms have you served?
I'm still a freshman, and it was my first term, but however, there's legislation to extend terms in Lansing to 12 years regardless of which chamber you're in, whether it's 12 in the House or 12 in the Senate. So I would be one of the very few people that benefit from this passage of this bill if they go to 12-year term lifetime. Right now, you can serve 3 terms in the House for 6 years and 2 terms in the Senate for 8. Together, that's 14, but there's such a turnover in the House that someone made a suggestion that we go to 12. Anywhere from 12 to 20 is a good idea, though, for a career legislator to just be effective.
Right.
So,
Right. Well, you're busy.
yeah,
Thank
we stay
you.
busy.
Thanks for introducing yourself.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Is that it? Is there anybody else wishing to speak? Okay, wonderful. Now we will go to the call to the council. Councilwoman Burns, would you like to say something?
Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Please be safe, be cognizant of the changing weathers, and dress accordingly. Have a good night.
Thank you. Councilman Radner.
Can we all just give a hand to our esteemed Mayor Pro Tem? This is the first meeting she's ever run.
Second. The first one was on Zoom. That's okay.
Oh, the first one was on Zoom. Okay, it doesn't count.
It doesn't. It really doesn't, but thank you.
Good night, everyone.
And Councilman Whitehead.
I appreciate Senator Bullock for coming out. We would want to invite you to our Juneteenth that we have June 19th. It's going to be, I believe, we're still nailing down the time, but I think it's going to be between 2 and 3 p.m. We'll be doing our first ever in-person Juneteenth in the city of Oak Park. We did our first ever one last year, but it was virtual. So we would love to have you out to come and speak. We're going to be honoring some black fathers and black grandfathers because that's Father's Day. So we appreciate you coming to our meeting today. Thanks.
Thank you. And I wanted to thank everybody who came out today, who spoke. We will look into all of your concerns. Thank you, Senator Bullock, for introducing yourself. I can't keep all these new districts straight, so it's good to connect. Just remember you, right? Okay.
Lucky 8.
I know the pothole situation is just terrible. And, you know, a lot, that is due to the freeze-thaw cycle. I know that's bad, but I have a couple of, there are a few trouble spots in my neighborhood. I know the parking lot, it's private, it's Lincoln Center. It's the parking lot that runs off of Lincoln, next to the 7-Eleven strip. It is, it's a moonscape. I mean, you cannot drive there. It's dangerous. You could get swallowed up in the potholes. So we definitely need to address that. Trash along 8 Mile is a serious problem. Poor Blight. We are really working toward cleaning up the city. You know, it's like, it's gotta be, everybody's gotta contribute to it. I mean, we try. So anyway, as for the 9 Mile linear park and City Manager Tungate, maybe you could address this. We were talking about those, are they ballards, the flexible posts that we can put up along 9 Mile to protect bicyclists and pedestrians and children playing in the park? Will that happen?
There will be some areas where you will see that on a permanent basis. Right now, there are temporary fences set up, and that's waiting for the plantings and things. And again, I really think once the plantings take place and people are able to see those and the impact that those have, that it'll squelch some of their concerns about the safety issues. It is a bona fide linear park, as I mentioned, so it does, you know, it is closer to the sidewalk and into the street. It doesn't change that, again, people should, you know, take note of that and watch their kids and express caution, of course, when they're near the road. We also have 2 speed limit electronic signs like the ones you see in Berkeley on Coolidge coming to that section of 9 Mile. We're just waiting to receive those. They're back ordered, and once those are in, we'll put those up as well, hoping to slow people down. We're also going to be doing some more traffic enforcement in that general area. I've asked the officers to spend more time down there and keeping people on check. So.
Okay. And I just wanted to mention that we have a new campaign, Elevate Oak Park. This is part of the Recreation Master Plan update that we're doing. And we're going to have a series of workshops for people who you can live in the area of the park or not. But they're going to begin April 7th we're doing a best park discussion on Thursday, April the 7th at the Community Center, and that's from 5:30 to 7. Key Park, we will have our discussion at the Community Center on Wednesday, April 13th, 5:30 to 7. We're doing a citywide trail system discussion on Monday, May the 2nd at City Hall, 5:30 to 7. Tyler Park discussion, Wednesday, May the 4th at Norrip International School, 6:30 to 7:30. Rothstein Park discussion, Thursday, May 12th at the Community Center, 5:30 to 7. And a Dewey Park discussion on Monday, May 16th at the Community Center, 5:37, finally, the Community Center and Shepherd Park discussion on Tuesday, May the 17th at the Community Center, 5:37. You can find this information on our website. It's really important that you come to these meetings to offer your input. These are in your neighborhoods, and they're meaningful. They are meeting places, and they really define what we're about to a large extent. So anyway, thank you all for coming, and the meeting is adjourned.